Hello students, parents and family members. My name is Daniel Allen and I'm the principal of VU Primary School. My fellow teaching staff consist of Michael, Ayden, Nick and Anthony, and we're going to explain to you why we teach humanities. Students will explore the history and role of humanities, Australian and global citizenship, education, social studies, social education and studies of society and environment in our school programs. They will develop the ability to plan, implement and evaluate humanities and citizenship education programs. Students develop knowledge and appreciation of Australian history, culture and society, particularly as they affect contemporary social issues. The domains that are involved in humanities include geography, history, economics and business, civics and citizenship. Humanities is a subject which provides the students with qualities and skills. Questioning. Students develop questions about events, developments, issues and/or phenomena. Researching. Students collect and organise information, evidence and/or data from primary and secondary sources. Analysing. Students interpret and analyse information, evidence and data to identify key points and points of view and perceptions. They identify the purpose and intent of sources and determine their accuracy and reliability. Evaluating. Students draw evidence-based conclusions, propose explanations for events, developments, issues and/or phenomena, and suggest courses of action in response to an issue or problem. Communicating. Students present findings in appropriate forms for different audiences and purposes using subject-specific terminology. Next I'm going to introduce you to Michael, and he's going to be explaining why we need to include the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people into humanities.
There are a various amount of reasons why we are being asked to include Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders perspectives in the classrooms. Providing teacher cross-cultural training and embedding Indigenous perspectives in the classroom has been shown to improve Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students' attendance, engagement, participation, and pathways into further education and work. Literacy targets for Aboriginal students in the Western Australian Deadly Ways to Learn project were exceeded by 50% through a program of teacher cross-cultural awareness training. It makes a difference to Aboriginal students when they see themselves, their cultures, their histories and communities reflected on the walls and in the hallways of their school. Students learn best when they feel comfortable learning. Learning only happens when students' stress levels are low and when effect is positive. Improving relationships between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians can only be achieved through reconciliation via education and exposure to each other's perspectives. In most cases, everything we see around us in our classroom and curriculum in the mainstream is Anglo-Australian perspective. Indigenous students are negotiating that every day and are either finding ways to fit into that or not fitting into and are disengaging. There is a need to redress the imbalance and bring something of Indigenous cultures into our school, which will enrich all students' understanding of Australian, of our history.
Hello future members of the VU primary community. My name is Anthony Cunsolo, a teacher here at the school, and I'll be presenting to you how we include our pedagogy into teaching humanities. So what is pedagogy? Pedagogy is the art, science or strategies of teaching based on professional knowledge and reflective practice. This means that every teacher has their own philosophies when teaching, and as your child's future humanities teacher, I'm here to give you an insight into my pedagogy. I believe that all students should be treated equally and with respect. In saying that, I do understand that every child is different and some require their needs to be addressed in a more individualised manner. I believe the humanities is a great subject to explore the many different aspects of human life. At VU Primary, we are taking a more inclusive approach to Aboriginal studies in the humanities in an attempt to better understand their history and culture and how this works into the history and culture of Australia. To do this, we refer to the EEC 1.4 and 2.4 standards of teaching, which Michael will address later on. The ways I like to implement this pedagogy into the classroom is having a collaborative mindset whilst learning. I believe in having an open discussion with the children before they do their work. This can be linked to inquiry-based learning, which is posing questions, problems, or scenarios to reach the desired outcome of learning. I believe in incorporating ICT into the classroom, with digital assignments being done alongside traditional handwritten ones. Thank you for your time.
Hi, I'm Nick. I'll be talking to you about place-based visits and why they are important to students' learning. Going to the museum or any excursion allows for immersion and connection and experiences beyond the classroom to engage and extend with the curriculum. Allowing the students to attend the Bunjalaka exhibit at the Melbourne Museum develops an understanding and appreciation of Aboriginal traditional practice and perspective, as there are many sites and artefacts available for the students to observe and analyse. Also, there are some interactive activities for the students at their disposal, such as listening to some famous and ordinary everyday Aboriginal people talking about their beliefs and their life experiences, which the students can use for their learning, and also where us teachers can make links to the curriculum. The sustainability plant is an artefact that is particularly useful in addressing the level 3 and 4 Humanities history curriculum, which states that the diversity of Australia's First People and the long and continuous connection of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples to their country and place. More specifically, it links to the elaboration, which states investigating pre-contact ways of the life of the Aboriginal people and Torres Strait Islanders, the knowledge of their environment, including land management practices, their sense of interconnectedness of the country or place, people, culture and identity, and some of their principles, such as caring for their country and caring for each other and respecting all things. Another artefact that the students can analyse, which can also link to the curriculum, is the fire sticks displayed again at the Bunjalaka exhibit. The fire sticks were used for communication within the Aboriginal tribes and can also be used to rejuvenate the soil within their land as well as growth. This may prompt the students to make connections with Aboriginal practices and also make links with the cross-curriculum priority areas. For example, number 3, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples have a holistic belief system and are spiritually and intellectually connected to the land, sea, sky and waterways. It also links with the 8 SOL standards of 1.4.4, developing a culturally responsive curriculum, and 1.4.5, creating effective learning experiences. This artefact also links to 2.4, the 8 SOL standards, are also evident with demonstrating a broad knowledge of understanding of and respecting for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories, cultures and languages, and finally provide opportunities for students to develop an understanding of and respect for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories, cultures and languages. I will now pass you on to the next teacher, Ayden, who will explain how we assess and celebrate the students' work.
Hello and welcome. My name is Ayden Horvat, and today I'll be talking to you about how we assess and celebrate work at school. At VU Primary, we assess students' work in many subjects. Students are given many assessments throughout their school life as a form of measuring their learning. Some assessments include tests, portfolios, oral presentations, assignments, and also assessing group work and behaviours of how students interact. At VU Primary, we assess to help us improve the way we teach and how we teach to cater for all learning types, not just to put a score on a report. It is so that we can implement new techniques and strategies to ensure students comprehend and understand what they are learning. Students' work is celebrated in many ways at VU Primary. These include rewards such as points, lollies, stickers. We also have awards such as certificates, display of work in the school newsletter, displays of work in corridors and classrooms, open evenings and days for parents and communities to see, and also presentation of work at school assemblies. Rewarding and celebrating work at VU Primary is very important to us, as it puts the students in a positive mindset towards learning. It has been proven that when students are rewarded with praise, they look forward to learning and anticipate further rewards. In addition to being rewarded, it further enhances their self-confidence and self-belief of achieving success, which is our main goal. We hope you've enjoyed your time here at VU Primary School on our open day and hope to see you in the near future.